about this, we might also tie together with another community college in ADM. We're going to explore doing a large, what they call National Science Foundation grant. So we're going to look at that also. Those are grants you write for about $1 million. In fact, they had a, what was that grant? They had $1 million grant that the U of I told us about while we were there at the meeting for training that they had put in for training on biofuels, and we're going to see if we can be a part of that also. So there were some good outcomes from it, and from our side, and really Jeff Bennett helped us with this before when alternative energy was in. We also talked about what are the green jobs in the future in the biofuels, and you gave us the job descriptions, and I've talked to J.B. Voss again, and we might work with them and explore also whether we want at college to have a biofuels technician program. So it was a good meeting. And everybody around the table, it was very cooperative, but I think those kind of links, I'd just make a pitch that we want to think about here, as we go forward. We want to think about a whole mix of jobs, and obviously if we bring something like a research facility here, it would create a kind of synergy for other things. So we'll keep going on anything else, I guess.
Are these open to the public, Jerry?
Yeah, everything here. The only thing that isn't is that lunch, and it's by invitation. And it should say that actually, that it's by invitation. Everything else open to the public. Obviously, the Wednesday thing where we're bringing students in, I don't know if you want to get in the middle of that. Those are high school kids, but please come out to some of this. We'd love to have you out there to join in the discussion and kind of see where this goes. And I'll mention one other thing on here, which is an interesting pet project. I need to talk to Mike a little bit more about it. And to some of you, maybe you could help us with this. But there are some of us who are interested in deconstruction, which is the idea of instead of bulldozing homes, you take them apart and then you recycle what's in them. And it just might be a possibility for this community to do something.
Connie McGree from the Kankakee County Association of Realtors, and we're continuing with our buy now campaign, which I told you about last month. We will probably see billboards up stating that, excuse me, Kankakee County is a great investment, which it is, and we've seen more activity. I think things are picking up with the warm weather, as Joe and Jeff said. I think things are getting busy.
I'm Bill Yaka, representing the Kankakee Chamber of Commerce and the Kankakee Development Corporation, and on the issue newsletters, have a new newsletter all about things going on downtown Kankakee. I didn't anticipate this large of a crowd. But this Friday night, the new semi-pro basketball team in Kankakee will have their first game, and the Chamber is having a pregame party just to kind of rally people at 6 o'clock across the street from there at the Cole Center downtown. The other thing, we're talking about websites, and we're talking about, in the midst of that right now, with downtown Kankakee, thinking about how we want to market ourselves in the farmers market, the different things that are going on down there. And I realized that through talking to a developer last week that a lot of what you do on the web sometimes is what they find, what is unintentional on your part. I asked this developer who came to town, so how'd you find me as the contact person? Was it through the city's Kankakee website? Was it through the chamber website? I said, well, yeah, I saw those, but what got my attention and why I wanted to meet you was because of your other site. Like, oh goodness, and he says, no, your site that's mykankakeeshirt.com. And I have a website that I did when I was a private citizen, wasn't really in this role, and people travel around the world and they have these shirts and they wear them, and they kiss donkeys in Israel, they travel all amidst the pyramids, all wearing their Kankakee, Illinois shirt. And he just thought, wow, this community's got some spirit. People have some passion about where they're from, and I want to be part of it. I want to meet those people. So just a thought about what we do is sometimes unintentional and results.
We have our Superman too.
Bernie Anderson with Nine Car Gas.
The next gentleman, I think, is relatively new to the community. You may know who he is, but I'll introduce him, then he can introduce himself somewhat. But this is Mr. Spathis, and he is the new village administrator for Bourbonnais. Welcome to the board.
Thank you. Greg Spathis, the Village of Bourbonnais. Really nothing to report this morning. We have a lot of activity, but we're not ready to explode it.
Tim?
Just on behalf of Mantino, we annexed another 180 acres the other night for single-family houses. We're still getting a lot of developers that are coming down. Obviously, they see a light at the end of the tunnel. They really don't right now. Things are pretty slow, but they all want to be geared up and ready to go when the economy changes. So we've got a number of different developments that they're moving forward, want to get all their government work done behind them. So that when the market does change, they're ready to move dirt, put in streets, and move on. So it looks like people are holding back a little now, but they know that it's when things break, that hopefully they'll be ready.
Mark Walker, you come from quite a bit. I think maybe you might want to say something.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I just came to observe, but my big thing currently is to push for community access television in the area. I've actually twisted a few arms in this room already, but I'd just like to highlight the idea of, for this crowd, of branding and creating an identity, and I think community access television could do that. I stress that type of access television because with community access and that open format, you get a lot more volunteer input. Creative people sort of come out of the woodwork and create programming. That's not the case with the other kinds of access television. I had the good fortune to go to Mantino and when they were shooting out the village board meeting, and that was an interesting experience. And I was in the control room, which is actually in another building. The cameras are permanently fixed in there, unobtrusive. I think it's pretty brave of them to shoot that out live. So it's kind of exciting.
We're on live TV.
But
I don't think they've
I just think that I've had experience with Kankakee Valley Primetime years ago, and in doing that, and with Jamie Simon and Jim Reardon, that little bit of experience sort of made me realize that, as I look around, there are great stories everywhere, and in this community, and I think they should be told. I think it'd be a great thing. I think it should be an open format because I think that the more ideas and perspectives that are brought to bear, it's been scientifically proven that communities that have the most wide array of input are the most successful in terms of the satisfaction of the people that live there. And I think that community access television could be a big plus. And I also believe in the idea of that the arts are important. Musicians, dancers, artists, and that's a good way to bring that forward. And so I just want to stress that community access television could be a great thing. Thanks for letting me speak.
I will from now on every meeting. Thank you. Mike?
Just a couple of things. First of all, I'd like to thank Bernie. He's from NICOR has helped us tremendously. We've had a couple issues we've been talking about, and it's really great to be able to actually talk. So no disrespect to NICOR, but I'm sure it's what people feel about the bank sometimes. It's a big kind of monolith, and it really helps to obviously be able to have a contact point and everything. Bernie does a great job from that. So thanks Bernie for helping us out from that standpoint. I guess the second thing is that I want to kind of repeat what Joe had said earlier about a couple of things, but when I go back, it's been now 3 years since area jobs asked the EDA side to take over the Ken Hayes building. And I look at some of the things that have happened there. It's been pretty incredible in terms of some of the positives, including some of, I might remind folks who may not know, but we've reduced expenses out of that building by close to $150,000 from what the previous administration had been running that building under. And the goal for that has always been to be able to drive resources into economic development, and obviously in the long run into the alliance. That's obviously
What he was complimenting Bernie on was that utilities is a nightmare. I mean, an absolute nightmare. We had to send somebody through the whole buildings, look at all electric meters, number them, identify where they are, put them on a blueprint, and then we gave all these to Bernie, who quickly handed them on somebody else. But we finally made sense out of the NICOR gas bills, and we're doing that now with ComEd. So there are things that went on in there that are just mind-boggling, and every time we think we got a handle on everything's done, we find something else. But we're getting there slowly, and it did bother us when we saw something about some letters being gone, but all the work that we have poured into this, and this guy here puts in tons of hours. Pat Martin does, and I do a little bit, and I'll tell you, it's starting to work over there. So,
Joe, would it? I've never been in that building. Would a tour be possible sometime for people who've not been in?
I'll tell you, it's interesting. It's it depends on how much time you want to spend.
Yeah.
I've been there a lot, and I've never been in every room yet. It's just a labyrinth. It goes on and on and on. And there's just a lot of things you can do with that.
Like maybe an hour tour sometime?
Yeah, I think we should do that.
Well, you know, if they got a meeting space,
We do.
I mean, why don't we just,
That's a great idea. Maybe we'll have a meeting there the next month or two. There's a real big enough to handle all this, and then everybody can then go on this tour together who wants to go. Okay.
yeah.
Chairman's report. I'm going to be brief on this, and I'm glad that I did say that county board members are leaving because they're leaving. They're leaving when I'm ready to talk. So
You timed that right, Rick.
Yeah. Going up. Ed and I are leaving now.
You guys might have to stay after class.
We were asked by the Illinois, let me make sure I get it right, the Illinois Works
Coalition, something like that.
Yeah, the Illinois Works Coalition group, who was co-chaired by Dennis Hassert and Glenn Bouchard. You may have read in the Tribune, and for that matter, I think it was in our local media too, back on March 6th, that they were appointed by Governor Blagojevich to make the capital budget program work. I think everyone is aware of the sensitivities that's taking place at our state capitol, and those of us who are suffering obviously are the community themselves, the whole state of Illinois, and we need a capital budget desperately. I think everyone knows that, and I think it was a good move that Mr. Hassert and Mr. Bouchard were named as co-chairs. They have asked us to host a regional town hall meeting. I'll call it, just to shorten it. They would be here. We could talk about our capital projects, which you heard Mike talk about earlier. I would like to have a few of you, whoever wants to volunteer, to stay afterwards to discuss how we would handle this, and I have reasons for that. First of all, there'd be a lot of people. We would like to determine where it would be at. I did ask Dr. whoever just earlier, if we could have it at his college, he said yes, have to have that date open. That's April 23rd. It's at 6 o'clock to 7:30. And if you would, in the interest of time, if a few of you would stay behind, I would appreciate it, because there's a lot that we have to go over with that. And I would like Representative Dudens to stay here, to stay if you've got the time, okay? Is there any questions relative to that?
That was, that's not for sure.
No, it's for sure if we come back and say so. I have some qualifications in there, and that's why it's not sure, which we'll discuss. Whoever wants to stay, if you all want to stay, that's fine, but this could go on 15 minutes at least, and you may not want to hang around for that. Yeah, is there any new business? Any old business? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. All in favor, aye. Thank you, good meeting.